All right, everyone. We are now, I believe anyway, live. I should probably make sure to mute the other computer because otherwise it's going to... hearing yourself talk while you're trying to do a live stream with like a 5-second lag, not exactly my idea of fun. For those just joining, which is going to be a lot of people here, probably only thousands watching, please do make sure to share out the link to this, as well as other content, because YouTube only notifies a small handful of people when I do anything now, to the point where growth is slowed to a crawl. Like on every other platform, everything's fine, everything's normal and churning right along. On YouTube, which is like, what I'm primarily known for as a YouTuber, where I'm streaming now, things have slowed down a lot. There is a thunderstorm going through right now, so you may hear some crashes of thunder as well. I was going to stream earlier. I was going to stream around noon. But anyway, I couldn't do that because it was so hot. It's like almost 90 degrees, fully sunny, high humidity. Now that the rain's gone through, it's, as a rule, generally a little bit better. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. I will be paying some attention to chat. I don't know about how long this will be. There are various things in the title there, of course, that I wanted to talk about. First and foremost, the mini AOC girl there, the 8-year-old that got trolled off the internet by, socialists, essentially, going on through the salute to America, Biden's fall from grace, other things. Talking maybe a little bit about feminist frequency, because there is now a little bit of question as to whether the feminist frequency channel on BitChute is actually official, because somebody screen capped that and posted it to me and it said, yeah, this isn't an official channel at the bottom. I don't know. That could be Sarkeesian's idea of a joke. It could be legit. I'm not sure. So I'm going to really quickly take a look at chat again. If you can share out this stream so that other people actually know that it's happening. For the most part, nobody's notified of it. That's just sort of the way that YouTube now rolls. And so it's really an attempt to throttle independent content creation. They would rather you be watching CNN right now. If you're watching me, then you're helping platform wrongthink, I guess, according to some of these scuzzwads. So I will be looking at this. As slow mode is obviously on. Yeah, somebody talking about Tommy Robinson. Yes, for those that aren't aware, this is a good topic to actually begin with. I probably should have put that in the title. Tommy Robinson was found guilty of, wrongthink, essentially, and they've sentenced him to time again, I guess. And so he's, I guess, going away and paying fines and stupid shit, for the sin of recording outside of a court. Or is this because he was trying to record his own trial or something? Who knows? In the UK, apparently, you have the wrong flavor of tea on the wrong day, and the Queen decrees that you'll go to prison. So it's not a surprise. But the thing is, if he goes away for 2 years, by the time he comes out, the paradigm will have shifted completely. Censorship and things like that will probably be on their way out, because it's getting so ridiculous that I can't imagine that even most self-proclaimed leftists, like even some far leftists, are starting to come around on gun control. So it may be a moot point. Maybe he gets out in 6 months because the government changes. It'd be funny, Nigel and all these others, they take command of the government, and the first thing they do is say, fuck it, and they let Tommy Robinson out. That'd be a good day. But yeah, make sure to share the stream, because otherwise most people won't see that it's actually extant, just the way the YouTube works. But I'm going to pay attention to the live chat here. Again, slow mode is on, 60-second, sort of cooldown period between comments. I have to do that. People are like, well, slow mode is stupid. Well, when you've got potentially thousands of people watching at the same time, if everyone's trying to comment at once, I can't see jack shit. So, yeah. Souththink says, America's future is a second world dystopian pod of despair and dysfunction. Western civilization is over. Oh, I totally disagree. I think the American century has just barely begun, and we're entering the next roaring 20s as a prelude to even greater things. By the way, no spoon. Why? Unnamed energy drink in there because actually I wanted to take it easy on the caffeine. I think that the coffee that I got, the Black Rifle, is stronger than an energy drink. So I decided to take it easy on my heart today. Styx, who in your opinion has the best chance to beat Trump? Buttigieg. But he's not going to be the nominee probably because he's stubbornly in 5th place. I looked, there are a couple more polls now, actually. The Economist finally released its post-Democratic debate poll. And you got to look at those numbers. He hasn't really budged. In fact, I think they had him a little bit lower than the roughly 6 he was at. And he rounds out the top 5 that are actually viable. If you look at the field, Booker did not get the boost that he wanted. He's no longer he's not capable of doing it. His grandstanding didn't work. There are 5 people basically in the field. The 6th place viable slot belongs to any person who becomes a dark horse candidate. Nobody had a breakaway performance in the first debate to be able to achieve that. And those that did well, like Gabbard, didn't get the boost. They simply didn't. That's because electability is #1 on the minds of Democrats. By the way, if this stream should suddenly go down, it is always possible lightning hits a transformer somewhere in Rutland and knocks the power out, and thus the internet. It's possible, not highly likely, but it's always a possibility. I think, therefore, that the only viable person there that would have an okay chance, and it would still be far less than 50-50, would be Buttigieg. Warren would be #2 in viability. Gabbard would probably be the least viable. And then Sanders and Biden would be, round out them in the very middle. I would have said Biden would be more viable, but I think Warren has found her footing more. Also, a quick analysis here. Think of it this way. Look at the spike in Kamala Harris's support. It looks an awful lot like a lot of the flash-in-the-pan candidates from 2016 in the Republican field, the crowded field. Warren's trajectory is more generally upward. Warren, I think, is going to be the Ted Cruz of this year. And I think Sanders is the Marco Rubio. And I think Kamala Harris is the Ben Carson. And I think Biden is the nominee. Now, I could be wrong. That could change. But if the trajectories remain stable, that's what I would envision. I would say that Biden, if he's smart, would choose Buttigieg as his running mate. He wouldn't want to choose like a Warren or somebody like that. He wouldn't want to choose somebody far on the left. He would want to choose a moderate. And I think Buttigieg would be him. But then again, you never know. Do you read Manly P. Hall? Sort of an occult question. Yes. In fact, I've got a couple of his works. One that I'm actively editing. I'm waiting for the illustrations for that from my illustrator, Rita Metzner. I think I did edit one other work, but I have to wait to release it because I think it's not out of copyright for another year, if I remember correctly. I think I got one in my source files already done, except for that. Yeah, make sure to share out the stream. There are 1,100 of you watching. If all of you plaster it on some website, on a Facebook page, or on your Twitter account or something, that'll double. That's the only way that I can attract a new audience. And for me to talk to you and rely upon you, the audience, is literally the only way I can gain new subscribers now. Can't do it on my own. If I put stuff on YouTube, nobody finds it in related videos. Nobody sees it up next. Nobody sees it on trending. It doesn't matter how many people are watching this live. It won't trend. That's just sort of the way it is. And on search, unless you search for my username or the exact title, you don't find jack shit. Meanwhile, when I look for music, I'm a big 80s nut. Just before I launch into the politics here, I'm a huge 80s nut. I like dark wave. I like the new romantic stuff, fucking Roxy music and shit like that. But when I'm looking it up, I keep finding like gaming videos and weird shit right at the top. It's been like put on there either by YouTube or because someone brought out an ad campaign. I don't want to see some lame ass gaming video. I want to listen to fucking Depeche Mode. I want to listen to Roxy music or something. I want to listen to the Ramones. I want to listen to Ghost. I don't want to listen to some goofball talking about exclusionary video game characters and how there aren't enough women of color or lesbian characters in the new World War II simulator. I don't care about it. I'm not even a gamer. It still pisses me off. You're cluttering up YouTube with worthless shit. But anyway, the #1 topic here that I wanted to get to, beyond Tommy Robinson, which again was an oversight, sorry on my part. Mini AOC. A few days ago, little girl, basically dresses like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, does a deadpan, spot-on impression, by the way, actually does look a little bit like her as a kid. And it's sort of like, she was posing by the fence of her playground and was like, making sad face stuff like your face when the playground is closed and stuff like that. And it was very funny satire. She's gone now. After like 48 hours, all the accounts are scrubbed, completely gone, because apparently what happened is that Cortez has rabid fans. And she never disavowed this behavior, by the way. So I guess by Democratic standards, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she likes it when 8-year-olds get cyberbullied and harassed and threatened with death. So maybe she should resign, because she's deplorable, according to her own standards, I guess. But what happened, she got threats of doxing of her family, harassment, not just of her, but again, their extended circle. So they scrubbed all the accounts. Now, the first thing I would say is this, and I've seen others say this. If you intend to satirize somebody like Cortez, somebody on the further left, you have to understand that these are bullies. These are people, if someone likes Cortez, they fundamentally believe that the world is about to end, that doomsday is coming. They're like doomsday cultists. They believe that the world is going to end unless we ban all cows and all transatlantic flights. If you think that the world is about to end, you become a little bit self-righteous. You've probably sparred with hyper-religious people who think that the world is run by Satan right now and Jesus is literally right around the corner. Is it hard to debate them? Yes, because they just say, oh, you don't understand the gravity of the situation. Everything's literally, in their case, going to hell. If you try to satirize far-right religion, for example, you're going to get a lot of people that get really, really upset because they think that you're standing in the way of fucking God himself in the most literal sense. Likewise, there are people who think that Cortez, because she is so far to the fucking left that she's gone beyond socialism in the normal sense and onto the realm of total lunacy. There are people by the millions in this country who agree fundamentally with her, and there are smaller groups of people who think she's literally a sort of messianic figure. They literally would suck clean. If they saw her go into a public restroom, they would do everything within their power to go in right after her so they could lick the toilet seat. There are literally people like that. People that self-righteous and messed up, because they are messed up, will threaten you and will attack you and harass you if you satirize their sacred cow, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And that's exactly what she is. They hold her up in an almost quasi-religious manner. And this isn't common just to the left, by the way. There are people on the right who have been treated that way. 20 years ago, talking about Ronald Reagan or saying, oh my God, he's like God incarnate. If you say anything bad about him, my God, you're a pinko, you're a commie, you hate the United States and our way of life. You should be put on a desert island somewhere or something. Like in the Herbert Walker era or something, back in the 90s, the Clinton era. You've got that. Obama enjoys similar behavior, but that's nothing compared to Cortez fans. It may be only a small proportion of the people that like her as a person, and that's again, a fairly small total. Even in her own urban far-left district, her approval is lagging now. I think it's, what is it, in the 30s, if I remember correctly, in polling. Her approval is significantly lower than Trump's, and his is only middling and mediocre. But the people who do take her seriously, yes, they get violent. They think the world's about to end. They literally think the United States is run by a Nazi, and that there are millions of people out there that are ready to jackboot through the streets, and that they don't care, they want to shoot everyone, essentially. They see that, and then they see, well, the world is going to end in 10, 20 years. We're going to look like Tatooine. In 50 years, the world will look like the surface of Tatooine. If you actually believe that, yes, you tend to get a little bit closed off to debate. And yes, you will gladly attack an 8-year-old and threaten their family if they satirize your sacred cow fucking politician. It's as simple as that. So the family probably should have known better. If you want to satirize within politics right now, because people are so on edge, you've got to make sure that you can make ends meet without a normal job, because they'll call up your workplace to get you fired. That's probably what they did. They probably called up her dad and said, if you don't stop this, you'll lose your job. That's probably what happened. It's probably his employer primarily, not some random doxer on Reddit or something like that. But these people, to them, threatening an 8-year-old's life is normal. Yeah, absolutely, because they're socialists, they're far left, they're the scumbags, basically. So that's what I would say. It's still disgraceful, but they should have known that it was going to happen. And preferably, your kids probably shouldn't be doing political satire. Even if they satirize Trump, yes, there are people that will jump down their throats and troll the shit out of them. That absolutely happens. There are some cult of personality people who are Trump fans as well. It's the same fucking shit. Trump being more popular, arguably would have more people doing that for him, maybe. But yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting story there. It's too bad because it was funny satire. I mean, you're making fun of a person who's kind of low-hanging fruit, I guess, because Cortez says weird shit every other day, but that's just the way it is. Before I go on to the Salute to America rant, take a look here. Take a look at chat. Almost 2,000 people watching. To all newcomers, please do share the stream as widely as possible, because that's the only way that new audience members actually are absorbed by this channel on YouTube anymore. You see, YouTube buries me in all the search algorithms, and you rarely will get notified of my uploads anyway. So if you're seeing this, you're lucky. You got notified of it at all. Yeah. Abolish the FDA. You could. It's not like people would readily eat random shit. It's like I go out in my garden and, eat stuff that was just growing in the dirt 10 minutes before, and I've never gotten sick from it. The communicable disease, a little bit different from food poisoning. Did you see that thing where there's that one crazy woman, I think she's facing like 20 years in jail, who was licking the ice cream and putting it back on the shelf? How fucking sick can you possibly get? What a disgusting human being you have to be to like lick other people's food. It's like, it's gross enough. Like, you know, you're out to dinner like with your parents when you're a little kid and they like reach across and steal a French fry or something. You're like, come on, you know, leave my food alone. That's crazy enough. As a germaphobe, a little bit, like not truly, but with regards to certain things, like if I see a hair in my food, I won't eat it. I don't care if it's just one hair and I know it's just one hair. If I see a fucking little curly hair in my food, I will not touch a single goddamn bite of the rest. I don't care if it's $1,000 steak. I wouldn't touch it. Never happened. Yes, I'm a little bit phobic around hair in my food. So yes, when I hear someone's licking the ice cream, it's like, well, I don't need ice cream to survive anyway because I don't like sweets. Good. Yeah, I'm thankful that I don't like ice cream. By the way, you know, this time of year probably an oddity, but I don't care if you judge me. I'm not into sweets. Yeah, sometimes Red Bull. You know, sometimes I have a donut like twice a year. I never eat candy. I never did as a kid either. I was that weird kid who liked Brussels sprouts and shit like that. Brussels sprouts and bananas and stuff. I wanted sweets, I'd eat fruit. A bowl full of berries. Is AOC a virgin? Who cares? Probably not, but I mean, you know, I'm more worried about her politics, which suck. It'd be funny if Trump was. It'd be funny if all his marriages were of total convenience and like none of his kids are his. That'd be funny. He prefers just putting clamps on his nipples and going into the shallow end of the pool and squishing his feet against piles of grapes or some weird shit like that. Sorry, I have weird thoughts like that on a regular basis. Yeah. AOC has a great body. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Wearing a push-up bra, you know, okay. I don't really get into that though, but you know, your body, your brain is part of your body. If someone has an unattractive brain, I hate to say it, but in my mind, that makes them an unattractive person. Always has and always will. With AOC, it's like a negative something out of 10 when you consider the fact that she's literally a fucking lunatic. She's totally crazy. Oh, cow farts, big problem. Transatlantic flight was a mistake. We should build trains over the ocean, says AOC. Totally logical. Makes perfect sense to her. The fact that somebody can think that way, be that big a lunatic, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And she's in Congress. And there are some people who wanted to run for the presidency. Now, that's a tiny minority. If she were to run, she'd be like in last place, but there'd be people who would actually support her. They would actually give her money if she said, yeah, I'm running for president. And, you know, Cortez 2024, making cows extinct again. You know, crazy shit. But enough about AOC. She gets enough undeserved attention already. Way too much. She's a double bagger. There's a beer called Double Bag, actually. It's got a picture of a cow in it from Long Trail. Back when I was drinking, Long Trail was pretty good. Are you going to buy a big bore air gun with a moderator? No regulation in the US. No. Don't need any. I've got a BB gun, but I don't need any more of them. I only need one. That's just for play. That's just for playing around in the backyard, though. You know, you've got like a skunk is in the garden. I'm not going to sit there and load up the revolver and waste, you know, ammo on it. There's no reason to. I'll just use the BB gun and blast it in the head. You know, I mean, even if it doesn't kill it, I'll just walk up and chop its head off, I guess. I don't like killing animals, but I mean, I'm going to save my plants if I have to. Yes, everyone that is on this stream, hit like and share this out as widely as you can because it's the only way new blood comes to the channel. I'm going to start doing this about twice a week, having a show, honestly. I've got to, because the normal videos don't bring anyone in because nobody can find them unless they're already subscribed. Thanks to YouTube's algorithmic changes, a la the Data Society's hit piece against independent content creators. I'm too independent. I swear too much. I don't dress the right way. I'm not one of the pretty kids. I'm one of the people that helped build early wave YouTube. Therefore, I'm a pariah. I'm an outcast on new YouTube, new corporate-friendly YouTube. Well, let's talk about the salute to America, though. Because as I said this morning in one of my videos, even CNN has come out in an analysis piece, but not an opinion piece. It was an editorial piece. Came out and gave him credit for a good speech. Now, how fucking funny is that? CNN has not given Trump credit for virtually anything. They lambasted his tax plan. Oh, it's just tax cuts for the rich, which is bullshit, but that's what they did. Restraint on Iran was him being incoherent. Him trying to do things in North Korea is him talking with dictators, shaking hands with despots. Every step of the way, virtually everything Trump has done, they have come out against, even if it's something that if Obama had done it, or even Bush had done it in some cases, they would have applauded. Finally, they found one thing they couldn't fucking bitch about, which was his speech on the 4th of July, because it was perfect. There were no problems. They've defaulted, some of these rags have defaulted to worrying about the fact that they thought that Trump seriously was suggesting that the Continental Army in the 1700s attacked airports. I don't think so. I think that Trump is sane. That's just my opinion. You know, all of these claims of him being senile or nuts or whatever, they never made any sense, and they never will make sense. If he starts getting senile, I think we'll notice it. Probably around the time that he stops talking about the Space Force, and we notice that he's acting a little bit different. But the Salute to America celebration, while it's not really a political victory for Trump per se in the strictest sense. It's not like, well, this is really going to boost his support among some voting blockers. Like, no, but it shows him as able to control his speech. This is a lead up to the campaign. He's able to give a good speech. It's coherent and straightforward, hyper patriotic. It's unifying. It's not divisive in any way, although there are people who wanted it to be. It wasn't hyper political. He's capable of sitting there for an hour, giving a speech. It's not even really a political speech. It's just about the United States. Compare and contrast, this is what I suggested, with the Democratic debates. Not one person there could reliably be counted upon to make this kind of lengthy speech without attacking someone or something. Simply wouldn't happen. Trump didn't go negative even once in the course of that entire hour. Which Democrat could do that at the debates? Not a single one. There were those that attacked each other and those that attacked Trump, and that's pretty much it. And so when people compare the demeanor, when people look and they say, well, Trump's believable because he's already president, that his demeanor is arguably now calmer, registered as calmer than half of the Dem candidates, he starts to look a lot more palatable to the independent voters. That's really what this was about. And he threw in Betsy Ross and he threw in ICE as throwaways to his core fan base, and they loved it. Especially the Betsy Ross reference was not lost on anyone who heard it. We all know he was talking about Colin Kaepernick, who's very, very far left. He's a socialist, and he's an attention whore, basically. And so Trump attacked him seamlessly without looking like he was being political. Masterful. A+ speech, A+ effort. Now we've also got to talk about Biden, but I think I'll go here and take up a couple of little things. By the way, is the Joe Biden satire page, the like he's going to touch America sort of thing, is that, I think it was .info, is that still up? Somebody can tell me if that's actually still there. I remember that was hilarious. That was before he announced. Somebody made an unofficial campaign page, basically lampooning him with pictures of him squishing children's shoulders and weird shit like that. Why do you think we are going to enter another roaring 20s? Because we are. No, the history repeats itself over and over again. The paradigm shifting over, the rise of new technology and stuff, it all roughly equates to the boom times back then. We've even got our own Calvin Coolidge after a fashion, I suppose. YouTube most certainly censoring you. Yeah, exactly, which is why you need to share this stream out as widely as possible. I mean, this is just the way it is. It's not just me. It's everybody. There are channels that I'm subscribed to that I haven't gotten a notification for in 6 or 7 months. Like, and these are people who regularly make content. It's not like their channels are inactive. I go to the channel, I see the stuff they're uploading, but it's never on my list. It's never on my subscriptions page. It's never on the home page. I never get notified of anything, and I probably never will be, because they've been labeled guilty of wrongthink and they're being suppressed actively by YouTube systems. Likewise, the priority creator thing, this is what people must realize. Several years ago, when YouTube introduced the idea of content creators that would be labeled priority creators, the Kimmels and Neistats, it was just to protect them from being flagged. It was just to protect channels from being rated off of YouTube or hit with copyright strikes that were false, because they had a large presence. They gave corporate money to YouTube, and YouTube, rightfully so, wanted to protect them from being inconvenienced while they're making legitimate content. They took the priority status and they've now affixed preference in search results and related videos to it too. This is a passive way of them suppressing every independent creator on the platform for reasons that I spoke of before. For instance, I have a bakery. I've got 2 types of bread for sale, and I promote one of them. I say, wow, this bread is just so great. And I put big flashy signs pointing to it. Buy this bread. It's so wonderful. I'm not demoting the other kind of bread that it's competing with, not actively, but passively I am. Nobody's going to buy it. They're going to buy the bread that I'm making people notice more, that I'm playing up. I'm saying it's so wonderful. I'm not saying that about the other loaf. This is what YouTube has done with priority status on YouTube, with some thousands or tens of thousands of corporate and corporate pawn creators. This is what it's done. Then it has actively suppressed some of those users that are already getting abused anyway. You know, things slowed down 6 months ago for a lot of us. Now it's abusing some of us further by labeling us wrong think, and so we don't even appear in Related anymore. Like, even if it weren't for the priority creator thing, we simply disappeared from observable YouTube. The only way for the channel to grow is off-site now. So you have to put this on, you have to slap this on Twitter or Facebook or something. I have to use half a dozen platforms to push my material out to barely make a crawling headway on YouTube. I'm only growing on the platform at all because I have platforms on other sites as well. Now we've got to talk about Biden, though. And sort of Sanders as well. Biden and Sanders are both falling from grace, and it's really, you know, the Warren field at this point. Let's look at the Democratic race, the latest polls, I mean. If you look at those polls, Bernie Sanders has really slumped. He's arguably approaching single-digit status, according to a couple of the most recent post-debate polls. There are 5 of them. In a couple of them, he is perilously low. I think his top number, if I remember, was 22. That's roughly in line with what he's been at, but his aggregate keeps falling. He's now in 3rd, behind, I believe, Warren, if I remember correctly. Kamala Harris arguably is also ahead of him. Kamala is, and then Warren arguably ahead of him. Bernie Sanders may be in 4th place and falling right now. Buttigieg, meanwhile, has stabilized. He's still at 6 or 7, it makes him viable, but he hasn't risen particularly. One of them had him at 4, which that would be a disaster. I think that was the Economist poll. That's bad because the Economist is usually pretty reliable. The same one had Biden around his aggregate, you know, in the mid-20s. It makes him the front runner, but he's closer. Kamala Harris is rising up towards 20. Warren is rising up. I can't remember exactly what she was at. This is the viable field, these 5 people. One of them will almost certainly be the Dem nominee. It probably won't be Buttigieg because he's never been in the double digits in a poll. He's stagnated for months. In fact, he has actually fallen a little bit over time. He was at like 8 or 9 for a while, sort of at the time that Beto got in. And Beto faltered, but so did Buttigieg. The problem is in an electability election where they're trying to find someone to simply go up against Trump and win. They don't really care about, you know, what the ideology is, except for the far left. The best thing that they can possibly do, I mean, from that perspective, is get Warren in there, I suppose. Warren, I guess, is rising up to be the most electable of the top field other than Buttigieg. Not because she's a good candidate. She's not. She has a lot of baggage. She's easily antagonized. She clams up sometimes. She'd have fundraising problems, I think. And she's also going full identity politics. She'd be the next Hillary Clinton. She'd probably lose. But that doesn't, I mean, she'd probably be more electable than Sanders at this point because he looks less electable. He didn't do well at the first debate. He started to falter. Once you've got a downward trajectory, it's kind of difficult, unless you're already the front runner like Biden, to correct that. I still say Kamala Harris is likely a flash in the pan, though. I think she gets an injection of cash, an injection of attention, and then people will move on to the next flash in the pan candidate at the next debate. Until then, it's sort of Kamala Harris's, the ball is in her court as a second-tier candidate. I think she falters again. Biden, though, has a big problem. Biden's big problem is that with Joe Biden, he's trying to strike this chord that he's sane, that he's stable, he's moderate, he's able to work well with others, he's conciliatory. If he can make it to the general election, this makes him more electable because he won't have gone so far left that he becomes unelectable like Kamala Harris has. I don't think she's electable. She's so far to the left, I don't think the average independent voter would find her palatable even if Trump is problematic in their minds. I think the majority of them would vote for him anyway. Kamala Harris would be crushed. The same is true of Elizabeth Warren to a slightly lesser extent. The same is certainly true of Bernie Sanders. Buttigieg, no. But again, I question his true viability when he's been losing steam. As far as Biden goes, though, it is a liability during the primaries. The only thing, if he wins, it'll be because all of the far left candidates are strangulating one another's potential growth so that no single person can ever challenge Biden until it's too late after Super Tuesday. at this point, he keeps making mistakes. He made a mistake. He even owned up to it at the debate. He's like, well, I wasn't prepared with that busing question. Fucking just answer the fucking question, dude. You're the front runner. You've been running at 25-30 since months before you even got into the race. What more can you say? The only person who can beat Biden is Biden. But he keeps making dumb mistakes, like talking about gay jokes when he was at the rally in Seattle, and all of these other things. Just keeps making stupid errors. I keep expecting him to have another Me Too moment. I keep expecting him to get up on stage and he hears a baby crying. He's like, oh, just bring the baby up here and I'll hold it during the speech. It's something stupid like that. That's classic Joe Biden. He's the gaffe master. If he becomes the nominee, he'll lose and it'll be hilarious. Not that I'm saying any of the others would win. That's why I think it'll be Trump 2020. I can't imagine any of these jokesters in the White House. It's difficult. Anyway. Getting up towards 3,000 people watching live, which, since it's algorithmically demoted YouTube-wide, isn't that bad. Keep sharing it out. We'll see if we can hit the big 3-0. I'm going to look at live chat here a little bit. Kevin Rupert says, have you ever been recognized in public? Yes. Sometimes people come up. I've had people, they want pictures. They want to shake my hand. Sometimes they ask me questions or something. I've never had someone react negatively, but here's the thing. My assumption is there are definitely people. I've made like the Vermont series and stuff. I talk about Sanders. I'm sure that I'm disproportionately more known in Vermont than anywhere else in the country, probably, because I'm known as a Vermont YouTuber. I'm other than Bernie Sanders, I might be the most notable Vermonter who's actually above ground at the moment, which is surreal to me. Maybe Pat Leahy. But what was I saying? Yeah. I've been recognized, but I've never had someone come up and be like negative, like, oh, you suck or something. I'm assuming that's because they just, generally speaking, people don't have a visceral hate. And I think most of the people that troll that are like, you suck online, they wouldn't say it in real life because some of them are being tongue in cheek anyway. But yeah, I've had quite a few people recognize me in real world. When I go overseas, it'll be funny if that happens. It'd be funny if someone recognized me in a different language. I'm like, yeah. No habla or something like it'd be hilarious. Ben and Jerry. I don't know that they're are they still alive? Ben and Jerry's got sold to like Coca-Cola or something years ago. But yeah, I'm looking at a chat right now, so no worries. How tall are you? I am 6'2". By the way, when I sit down, I look a lot shorter. If you ever see me in public and I'm sitting, you won't realize that until I stand up because my legs are disproportionately long. That's where most of my length comes from. When I sit down, I look like a fucking midget or something. It's hilarious. Styx, when is the next MRE video? When I feel like eating an MRE. I mean, in this weather, no, I don't want to really sit there. And like, it's difficult enough to do a live stream. The sun's coming out now. The humidity is going to rise within the next 15 minutes. And it's going to be sweltering again. We got a brief reprieve, but I don't want to sit there like sweating and eating heavy foods. No, just not my bag. Trudeau will lose in October, maybe. It's possible. Are you going to do a naked pagan dance on your channel? No, but that'd be funny. I could always just claim religious exemption to YouTube's TOS, since apparently that works for certain other groups of people. So, yeah. It's okay if I do unconscionable bullshit. It's part of my religion. Leave me alone. Do you like political cartoons? Any favorite cartoonist? Ben Garrison. I like Stone Toss. Is a comics. But that's pretty basic bitch mode on my count. But yeah, I like Ben Garrison a lot. I don't always agree with him because he's a deeply anti-abortion. He's more of a religious, conservative Christian sort of figure, whereas I'm a libertarian and a pagan. But yeah, for the most part, I like it. Jeb Surge 2020. It would be funny if Jeb got in right now. It'd be funny if he was just honest with people and he's like, yeah, I'm basically a Democrat. I'm putting a D after my name. Look at you losers, but I'm a Bush. Jeb Bush, did you see what he posted on Twitter? On the 4th, he's like, well, 3 presidents have died on the 4th of July. Interesting coincidence or something like that. And I'm like, a lot of people were like, they thought it was a thinly veiled attack on Trump, like, wishing he died. I said, oh, you mean that you want W to die? So first time in your life, you'll be the most imposing Bush. Like, you'll be the most successful Bush if your brother dies now that your daddy is dead. So I thought that was funny. I think they deleted my comment, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that I couldn't find it. It disappeared from my Twitter page, too, on the replies. So I'm like, I think Jeb got angry at me. I'm sorry, Jeb. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to insinuate that you were a dumbass that never accomplished anything and managed to come in like 5th place in a race that you should have been the shoe-in for. Scott Adams predicts Kamala Harris as the Dem nominee. Possible. It's hard to tell right now because if Biden's downward spiral continues, she and Warren will be battling it out. I guess Buttigieg, at some point, though, if Biden falls below a certain threshold, he's going to crash and burn. And what'll happen is all the moderates will want someone. They're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. They'll have to rally behind someone else. The problem is that they might be split between Buttigieg and, oddly enough, Elizabeth Warren. In which case, yeah, Kamala Harris, if she's not a flash in the pan, would probably be the nominee. The thing is, I'm looking at her upward trajectory. She suddenly spikes just because of a debate. This happened with Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, and I can't remember. There was a third person. Multiple people. Oh, it was that Texas dude that Trump put in the cabinet. What the fuck's his name? The loser. Is he energy secretary or something? Help me out here. I don't care. That goofball from Texas anyway, the weird one that now wears little glasses, looks a little bit like a fatter version of Jeb. Basically, these people would rise up and then they would collapse systemically over and over again. And it was always due to debate performance or speeches. I see Kamala Harris as possibly being the same one. Rick Perry, yes. Rick Perry is the one I'm thinking of. He did that too. And this happens every election. You'll see Ron Paul had a spiking moment at one point. In that election, Rick Santorum, that was that 2008 or 2012? I can't remember. Rick Santorum had that moment. This seems to happen in every election because what happens is someone gets a lot of attention who hadn't before. They spike, but it never leads to a long-term spreading of them as a person. It's just sort of a flash in the pan. They get their 15 minutes of fame. They slide back down. I would hazard this to the Democrats. Kamala Harris is a non-white, non-Christian woman with a far-left platform. There are certain Democratic voting blocks that are not going to get behind her no matter how far you push her. No matter how much you push Kamala Harris and the Orange Man Bad platform, there are plenty of Democrats, especially in certain vulnerable states, that are not going to tolerate that. That means the Rust Belt, Virginia, and the Carolinas, certainly. Definitely a place like Texas. Texas is not going to go blue in 2020, by the way. People keep making these fantastical maps where Texas is blue, Arizona's blue, all sorts of stupid shit. It's like saying there's going to be a red California in 2020 because reasons. No, the paradigm is shifting. This paradigm shift arguably is almost over now as of this election, but it's not going to shift that far. It's a little bit of change over time. The Rust Belt and the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Southwest are what you need to look at, not Texas and California and stupid shit like that. I like Gillibrand because she looks hot. She looks okay for the cameras, but the problem with Gillibrand is she never gained any traction. I mean, her on a good day, she had 2%. That's about all she had. And that was when the race wasn't nearly as crowded as it is now. She was one of the early people to get in. The fact is this. Nobody has ever been ahead of Biden, even when he wasn't a candidate. That makes him virtually a shoo-in unless he destroys himself. The one wild card is that Biden typically makes gaffes. He does stupid shit, and he destroys himself. Well, there you go. That's why we're not certain who the nominee will be. If Biden weren't gaffe-prone, I would declare him the presumptive nominee today. But he could do something stupid tomorrow and end up leaving the race entirely, which, by the way, would lead to a total free-for-all. Oh, it'd be better than 1,000 Christmases. It'd be almost as good as Halloween, and it would be just as spooky, especially for the liberals. Yeah, I'm going to look at chat a little more. We've got 3,100 people currently watching. Make sure to share it out, and we'll see how hard we can get it, maybe. We need lots and lots of spoons to clank, because otherwise nobody will know that I'm live, because they're not going to get notified. They're not going to see it in recommended videos when they're searching for political live streams. I bet if you search for politics under live, I bet I'm not even there. And if I am, it's probably just you. Be lucky you don't see me as demoted as others do. But it's better than watching CNN. I think it's more interactive. Can you imagine, somebody from Fox or MSNBC reading out comments on a live stream? I wish they'd all be unemployed at their news organizations. They would have to do this sort of thing because it'd be funny. It'd be funny to see them try to actually talk without either notes or a teleprompter while also interacting with other people. They're not good at interacting with other people. You send an email to them, their staff weed through the emails and send them the nice ones. No, we don't want to upset Joe and Mika today with the 10,000 people telling him to fuck off. We don't want him to see those emails. Send him the two fluff pieces. By the way, there was the world's best fluff piece. This is going to be a major video tomorrow from the Des Moines Register. They did a fluff piece. It's an opinion piece, in all honesty, so keep that in mind, about Kamala Harris. Oh, my fucking God. It is the most syrupy, sappy, disgustingly awful fluff piece I have ever seen about a political candidate. Oh, my God. And it's like my wife's son cuck article in a way, too. I'm not going to talk too much about it. This is going to be a hilarious video for tomorrow. But the Des Moines Register making a Kamala Harris thing, talking about she cuts the fries herself and serves food to her husband's ex and weird shit like that. Oh my God, just wait. It's going to be the funniest fucking shit ever. It's great. Get on stream tomorrow with Matt Christensen and Blonde. The thing is, I wait till other people invite me onto streams. I don't go and say, hey, can I come on your stream or something? In fact, I should probably have them on a stream sometime. I should do a stream and then I should bring them on. It'll be like their show in reverse for the Styx show, and it'd be hilarious. And, yeah, that'd be funny. I'm not really that good at interviewing. I'm more, I like to chat with people a little bit, but as far as having a more structured interview, a little bit more difficult for me. So I just prefer to let people speak if I'm doing that, because the whole goal is to platform them. Platforming extremists like, Ray from BitChute. Oh my God. Terrible person. He believes in free speech. Oh my God. What will little Jimmy do now? Little Jimmy might think that it's okay to speak his mind, and we all know, if you ever watch Pink Floyd's The Wall, that's not the case. Why don't you run Super Chat, says Crazy Ferret Lady. Because if I run Super Chat, then there's a whole nother set of rules that I have to abide by. People can say crazy shit. If I'm going to do Super Chat, I'm basically saying people with expendable money have more of an opinion, a bigger voice than other people. And I already don't take ad revenue, so why would I take Super Chat? Plus, YouTube takes 30-40% of the Super Chat anyway. Someone donates $100, and at the end of the day, I don't get $100. YouTube gets most of it. No thanks. If you want to tip me on Subscribestar or something like that, you can, or send me crypto or buy a book. I've got merchandise now. Link in the description. You can buy a hat or a mug or whatever. You get something tangible in response. Comment, you should just already able to comment here. No offense. I'm not trying to be an asshat to you or anyone else. I'm just saying, I've always felt uncomfortable with the live chat sort of thing, like a super chat. I don't know. I know why they implemented it. They implemented it because a lot of content creators were tired of having their ad revenue drawing up. So they said, oh, you make money this way. But they censor that too. So it's what the fuck's the point? And then they're going to get rid of live streaming. It's like somebody asked earlier, oh, you're going to stream in the 2020 election. Maybe. It might not be on a Hangout on YouTube, though. It might be on a BitChute live stream if they enable that for general use, which they need to do before the election. Trust me, by the time of the general election debates, we need BitChute to have live streaming for people like me, at least larger users. We've got to be able to do that because there's no guarantee we'll be able to do it on YouTube. And I've never tried DLive or DTube, but they seem less stable. So it would be a big problem. BitChute has more stability. It has a larger organic user base. I'm sure that it would be all of the rage. BitChute could actually compete in this department. If YouTube abandons the concept of live for general users and only retains it for the CNNs and Kimmels, BitChute's got a whole new market to get into. It's sort of like Gab getting into the market of people who actually want to speak freely. It works. By the way, if you have a conversation with Torba or Ray Vahi or any of these other people, or Ottman, they're awfully optimistic lately. I wonder why. Could it be their competitors are destroying themselves? I think so. I think we gotta, yeah. Yes, some people still mentioning Tommy Robinson. Right at the beginning, I mentioned that. Yes, he has apparently been sentenced in a kangaroo court, stupid ass proceeding. But it just makes him a martyr. He'll come out, he'll be more powerful than ever. That's really what it's about. British politics are changing. Look at the Brexit Party. I know. well, Farage threw Robinson under the bus. He's not a free speech warrior. Well, he is. It's just a matter of political optics in order to actually get your foot in the door into British politics. Thankfully, then, you get your Brexit, you reform things after. Sometimes you have to speak strategically, think strategically. It's just the way you have to operate. You can't just be an idealist. You lose if you do and your ideals never come to fruition. He doesn't deserve to go to jail. I absolutely agree. Tommy Robinson should be a free man. He did nothing wrong. Here's the thing. If Tommy Robinson had done what he did there in the United States, there'd be no charge. He didn't do anything illegal. Only a crazy ass system could possibly find it illegal for you to record outside of a fucking courtroom. If you got that much of a problem, why didn't the police cordon off a larger area and say, okay, well, you go into the exclusion zone. We're not going to let anyone see you because reasons. What if somebody leans out their window and broadcasts from their own living room? What about that? What if their flat happens to be right across? They get a really good zoom lens and they're recording from there. If Tommy Robinson had done that, would it have been a problem? Oi, mate, you got a license for that Zoom? Some stupid shit like that. He didn't do anything wrong. What's in the jars? This is chamomile. By the way, you may notice something interesting. When I first filled them, they were up here, right? Now look, they're down here. They actually settled a little bit further as they weren't apparently 100% done drying. You put napkins or paper towels or something in the bottom to regulate moisture. This is a lot of chamomile. Oh, and it smells so good, you have no idea. When you parse it apart, like even a year later, if you take a piece and you just sort of smush it apart, it smells strongly of chamomile. The sort of oiliness inside can stay good for years and years to come. I don't even bother putting lids on. You can, but until it's fully dry, until it settles down and stops settling, I won't cap them. I'll put another layer of paper towel on top and then seal them, and that'll keep them from, having any problems. Have you played Kerbal Space Program? I never heard of it. If that's a game, I don't do much gaming anymore. I used to be big into it, like in the PS2 era, many years ago, young man. I can remember 64-bit gaming. I can remember Super Mario Brothers. I can remember the first Star Fox, like not even Star Fox 64. I thought that was great as a kid. Damn Styx, you're thick. I hope that you're not talking about my mental state there. Yeah. 500, oh wait, where the hell did it go? 500 foot-pound BB gun with a built-in silencer for $1,000. Only in America, though. Air Force. Yeah, why would I want a silencer on a BB gun? I need a suppressor. It'd be interesting. Yeah, James Bond in the UK having to use that and still having to pass 5 license tests or something in order to get it. Minecraft plus The Sims NASA. Well, then it sounds cool. Why are world governments not taking Ebola seriously? Because world governments are run by morons, largely. If they weren't, then the world wouldn't be as messed up as it is. Supposedly government solves problems. It never really does, though. Just makes them worse. By the way, again, to anyone who's new on here, make sure to share out this stream to people because otherwise nobody sees it, because YouTube doesn't notify people of jack shit anymore unless you're a priority creator. Tommy will probably be murdered in prison. Possibly. I would assume that they would want to protect him, though, to prevent riots. They don't want him to be a complete martyr. So, I don't know. They'll keep marginally good care of him. They'll probably torture him in there, though. They'll probably pay inmates to beat him up without actually killing him. They'll put the fear of God into him. I feel sorry for his family because his family now is completely unprotected. And they're going to get harassed by, far leftists. This is just the way it is over in Europe. A bunch of socialistic people. Are you half Asian? No. No, supposedly I'm part Native American, which explains, like, supposedly I look vaguely Asiatic or something. Yeah, no, I'm not part Asian. It was funny because one time I went to, when I was at UVM, I thought about taking, basic Japanese course, Japanese language. And I'm actually pretty good at mimicking sound. So the dude, I guess, looked at me and heard when I sort of repeat, I can't remember exactly what we were supposed to say, some sort of greeting, Hajime Mashite or something. I did it well, and if he thought I was Japanese, he's like, are you part Japanese? I'm like, no. I had ended up not staying with that course, though. I had tried German, and I'm like, I missed the first few classes because I was, moving from class to class trying to fill in my extra slot to get the 15 credits for the semester. And anyway, I've tried German. I'm like, fuck this, too hard. Then I tried that, and I'm like, well, it's not really down my alley. And so it was just a shit show. And I can't remember what I ended up settling on, some easy as fuck course. Or maybe I didn't put a course in that slot and just dropped to 12, which is the minimum for full time. I can't remember. I don't know. It was just after my overdose and shit like that. I was kind of in a daze, all right? Excuse me for dropping out when I was, having trouble even getting up in the morning. Sometimes I'd sleep till noon. It was a tough time. There aren't many videos from that era on my channel for a reason. Styx is more Indian than Warren. Well, that's not hard to accomplish. She's 100% pure white. She's arguably one of the whitest people in this country. If you ran for POTUS, do you think you would win? No, because it seems like people are rewarded for being incoherent and hyperbolic when they run for high office. I'd be more likely to run for like local mayor or something like that. I don't want to go to DC anyway. It'd be stupid. Join the Proud Boys. Yeah. Yes, let me piss away my entire career to join a defunct movement whose founder disowns them. No thanks. Styx is Native American. Yeah, I was born in the United States. I wasn't born in Europe. It's funny when people say, go back to Europe. Never been there. Sometime, but no, not yet. I'm just looking at chat right now. Do you think when Trump inevitably wins 2020, leftists are going to declare it was Russians who rigged? If he wins. Still not clear. You don't even know who he's going to be running against. Some dark horse candidate could come out of the woodwork, do really, really well for a couple debates, shoot to the top, and actually challenge him. Buttigieg could be the nominee. It's just not likely. He would actually, he uniquely could actually win. Buttigieg could. I don't think Biden, he's just too old and too weird, and he makes so many mistakes. Like, he's made 2 major gaffes just in the primaries. Warren, I think she's got too much baggage. Harris has both baggage and a shitty personality. And Sanders is nowhere to be found. He's crumbling, because he's no longer the far left candidate, which is hilarious. Yeah. But no, it's not definite that Trump will win. It's just likely that Trump will win. I would generally favor him. I mean, if I were a betting man and I were like, oh, here's $1,000, Styx, bet on who wins. Yes, I'd put it on Trump. But that doesn't mean that it's certain. It just means that it's more likely than not. What does your God say about the California quake, Styx? They're seismic events. They have nothing to do with religion. It's just the way that it is. It's Southern California. They have a lot of quakes. And by the way, the big one could still be coming. These could both be foreshocks. They don't know. They just assume that the one they had today was the main event. No, they don't know that for certain. Yes, it is. He'll win. No, it's not certain that Trump will win. It's just likely. You can say it has a 99.9% chance if you want, but you can't say with certainty. He could stroke out tomorrow and die. Then he can't win the election. He could die. He could have some major scandal could actually erupt. Right now, you don't have that. By the way, did you notice for the last month or so, the Democrats haven't really said much about his tax returns? They haven't been mentioning Russia much either, except when Trump prompts them to do so. It's funny to watch him do that. It was God, and I'm an atheist. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not an atheist. I'm just apatheistic and stopped caring at this point. Do you put ketchup on egg rolls? No. I'll put them on eggs, though. Here's a list of types of eggs ketchup can or should go on. It must be on scrambled eggs. It can be on fried eggs. It can be on eggs like over easy or something. Doesn't go on deviled eggs. Doesn't go on hard-boiled eggs. Not on egg salad. Not on egg rolls. It doesn't need to. Styx is vegan. It's funny how many people think I'm a vegetarian simply because I ate some vegetarian MREs and stuff. They were sent to me by someone actively in the U.S. military who happens to be vegetarian, so those were just the ones I was eating. I like meat. Today I had burek and samosas, actually. There's a Mediterranean stall at the local farmer's market every Saturday, and they have really, really good food. And the burek there, which is, it's like, it's this doughy, flaky stuff that's cooked over this sausage or something. I'm not exactly 100% sure what kind of meat's in the middle. It's excellent. They serve it with a yogurt sauce. Really good. Oh, God. They got so much good food there. Rutland has some problems and is kind of weird in some ways, but our farmers market's incredible. Now, even in the winter, they've got it, but it's indoors because, you know, can you imagine setting up the stalls? It's like they should just build temporary, like, igloo structures for the farmers market. They should have a snow market in the winter. And the stalls, you know, you just, you make the snow, and then you cover them over with layer after layer of ice over the snow by using a hose and hot water. And then once you've got, like, really, really thick ice in domes or arches or something, then you remove the snow from the inside and you'll be able to see through it and stuff. It'd look cool, be functional. Put a little scaffold under it, maybe. Yeah. Congrats on no mods. Yeah, there will never be mods in the live chat on my streams. I've thought about it, like, you know, people who are very laissez-faire, who I trust, like regulars or something, but then I'm like, it doesn't matter because I can barely read half the comments anyway, so. Yeah. Styx, a haunted tour of the U.S. I've thought about it. But, you know, it'd take a lot of time out of my normal schedule of other videos and also editing, importantly. So, oh yeah, one last thing here before I go back through recap and stuff. Do you think Ginsburg is still alive? We have gotten pictures and stuff from Ginsburg post, you know, whatever her issue was. She's an old lady, though. How long is she going to live? The world can only guess at that. One thing is for certain, if she were to croak right now, even the Republicans would not dare to replace her until after the election. They would get bullied into it. I guarantee that they would get totally bullied by the Democrats. They would say, don't you dare try to appoint a replacement right now. You wait until after the election. And Trump would have no excuse because of the Garland situation. But then again, Trump's likely to win. So if she croaks right now, he'll probably still be the one replacing her. That's just the way it is. So again, news of the day. Number one, actually not in the title at all. Tommy Robinson. He has apparently been found guilty and sentenced to 2 years or something. It's a farce. Britain is under occupation by globalistic tyrants. That's number one. Number two, we've got Mini AOC, who many of you have probably become aware of. 8-year-old girl who sort of lampooned Cortez, got trolled off the internet by AOC fans. Like what I said is, if you're going to lampoon AOC or some other self-righteous far leftist, you've got to be aware that you will be attacked by these people, at least in an online capacity. So make sure that you know, your living is not publicly exposed, that there's no personally identifiable information out there. If there is, make sure that you're like self-employed or independently wealthy. Get ready for the fact that you might be physically attacked, because these people think the world is ending. They literally think if we don't ban cows and transatlantic flight that the world will end in 10 years. That's what AOC has told them, and they believe it. If you're a doomsday cultist, which means if you're an AOC superfan, yes, you will attack an 8-year-old and threaten to kill them over something like that, over you know, threatening the livelihood of your sacred cow candidate, which is basically what AOC is to these people. Number three, the salute to America went off without a hitch. Just a recap of that, Trump giving one of the best speeches, if not the best speech of his presidency. Even CNN applauded him for this. And this was in the analysis section, not the opinion section. Very important. By the way, that could be a harbinger of things to come if Scott Adams is correct. Scott Adams claims that it's still possible that Trump will become the darling of the legacy media because they don't want him to lose. Secretly, they want him to win because they like complaining about him and how easy it is to do fake journalism, basically just ripping him off and grifting off his existence all day. And then we've got the fall from grace of Joe Biden, but also Bernie Sanders. They're both systemically collapsing. Biden's only advantage is that he's been the front runner and still is by a small margin. And the fact that Warren and Harris, I think, are going to cannibalize one another. It'd be funny because Warren may hit a ceiling at some point. Biden, when he first got in, it looked like he might soar to 40% and become a shoo-in. He would have cinched it then. He wouldn't even have to go to the debates. All he would have to do is rally. We'll see what Biden does at the next debate, though. That'll be important. If he punches down, if he smacks Kamala Harris in the cock or something, he could still come out unscathed. I think he can pull it off too. He is capable of going on the attack. It's just that he's convinced that he's going to win anyway, I think. And so he's trying to stay above the fray as much as possible to make it to the general unscathed so he can beat Trump. I just don't think he can do that. I think that it's going to have to be a blood sport within the Democratic Party, and then the Democratic nominee loses against Trump because of that fact. Because it's such a crowded and vicious field of socialists, essentially. Like before I go into a few last questions here, You can share this out. Even if you're not seeing this live, you can still share it when it's not live. It's still long form. Good idea to do, because YouTube's certainly not going to share it out to anyone through the notification system. What video games, Styx? I played a little bit of everything. My childhood game was Grand Theft Auto, specifically San Andreas. I liked Vice City's atmosphere and music better, but the map was tiny and the graphics weren't as good. I got into San Andreas. That was a cool one. Later on, Fallout 3, certainly, like, college years. And now I play, some web-based games. Like Corporation Incorporated's fun if you're just bored, basically. Or was it Crush the Castle, Bloons Tower Defense 5, stuff like that. I don't play 6, but 5 was good. Stuff like that I like, just sort of the addicting games thing. Fallout 4, Minecraft occasionally. I have played Victoria 2 occasionally as well. Some people wanted me to start a new campaign, and I'm like, yeah, but it takes a lot of effort to do that, because I got to supply commentary while I'm playing, basically. I'd rather just sit there and not be connected to anything and just sit there burning my mind out for 3 or 4 hours gaming. Skyrim, yes. Skyrim I've played. I like Bethesda. Yeah, Elder Scrolls. I like Bethesda, actually, as a company. For Fallout 76, not played it, but I don't think anyone else plays it at this point either. They failed. They aborted their attempt. Styx is a baller, over 3,000 viewers. Yeah, wait till the election live stream, assuming it happens on YouTube. And if not, YouTube, again, as I said before, this is something people need to understand. YouTube is actively planning to retire Hangouts. They're definitely going to be retiring multi-person Hangouts, which alone would prevent me from doing an election stream, because my plan is to have 6 or 7 additional people as guests for like 10, 15 minutes apiece on the stream throughout the night. Because if I'm going to sit there talking for 4 hours straight, my voice is going to completely collapse. That means the next day it'll be miserable for me. No thanks. I'd rather have other people aboard. They can do some of the talking, ask them their opinions and stuff. It takes a little strain off me. It also makes it more interesting, I think. If YouTube gets rid of Hangouts entirely, I can't stream at all. Basically, what I have a feeling is going to happen is there'll still be live feeds on YouTube. It's just we won't be able to use them. It'll only be CNN and Fox. It'll be like TV 2.0. Oh, fuck. I mean, if I wanted to watch TV like a moron, I would watch TV like a moron. I come to YouTube to get away from that sort of bullshit. So I'm not going to watch any of that shit. It's like there are entire channels that are solely live content at this point, that are basically like a TV style sort of thing that airs and sometimes on a loop. It's like right-wing broadcasting there. Their live feed is on 24/7. It's just that when they're not actively doing something, when they're not doing reporting or special events, it's just some music and basically a traffic cam. But I mean, what would happen to them? They're not a priority creator because they're not neoliberals or neocons. They're not Clintonians or Bushites, so it'd be a big problem. You get bikes in Vice City, yeah. Yeah, Vice City was great. Vice City, I wish that they would remake that fully modern. I wish they would make a PC version, actually, of like GTA Vice City that was multiplayer, so that'd be great. Can you imagine the gang wars you could have on that? So great. Mine's already has live streaming that can be piped to YouTube. Oh, I actually didn't know that. That's one thing I got to take exception with one thing about alt tech. Sometimes they unveil changes and they haven't made it clear to every user, except for the most into it users, that they're doing something. Like, for instance, I had no idea Gab was going to change its entire format until it changed its entire format, because I don't keep up to date, every hour with Gab news, so to speak. With Minds, I wasn't aware of that. There have been other services on certain sites. I simply didn't know they were being rolled out. I think BitChute has the best communication of any of them. And I say this as someone, I like Ottman and Minds. I like Gab as well, but communication can be important. And part of it is the fact that Twitter, which is the main communication method for a lot of these things, is shit at this point, honestly. Really shit. Wouldn't be surprised if Remastered GTA comes out before GTA 6. I don't know. Will you run for governor? No, but people can definitely write in my name anyway. I'll make a video about it just like I did last time around. I got like 15, 16 votes. It was hilarious. And now maybe I'll try for 20 this year, just as a joke. It means that my name is recorded in, political records. I'll be a perennial candidate. I will be Ross Perot. That will be funny. Still banned in Germany. Bad boy. Now, I've been banned in Germany for the better part of a decade. I don't even know what I did to piss the German government off. I didn't have any edgy content 10 years ago. Most of my content was just me rambling about religion a little bit and theogens. I didn't really do political chat. Parler is much better than Twitter. I've got a Parler account. I'm on Parler and on Gab. I'm also on Minds and BitChute. I'm technically on DTube/Steemit, but it's inactive. I just happen to have an account there, Breaking news, Styx becomes governor, world goes insane. Yeah, that'd be funny. God is dead, Satan lives. That was a good scene, by the way. In fact, one of the only good scenes in Rosemary's Baby. That was a boring movie. Would you chat with Animator Man? I actually shouted out his channel a while back. He's the one that does the Andy 6 log posting. It's funny because some people on like B, they think that I'm the one doing it, and they've actually had threads about it, which is hilarious to me. I have posted Andy 6 log memes before, but I am not the progenitor of that thing. Are you on Telegram? No. Apparently there is a channel pretending to be me there. It's probably took the username for malevolent purposes. But no, I've never used it. I don't even know exactly what it is. I've heard of it before, though. Are you on Pawoo? It's an alternative Twitter. No, here's the thing about alt tech. I can only utilize so many platforms before I have to hire an intern or something. And I don't want to do that. So no, I can't use every platform under the sun. By the way, Mastodon's still vainly fighting Gab, which is hilarious. Any chance a Republican could retake California? This will be the last question, then I'll go off because I can't remember how long it's been. Not in this election. Not unless the Democratic candidate died or like took a shit on stage or something drastic. Then possibly you could see a clean sweep. The idea that we are going to have like a clean sweep election anytime soon, unless one candidate or the other is notably insane in the most literal sense, nonpartisan sense, probably not. But yeah, so I'm actually going to go off now. Had fun, but the humidity is starting to climb back up. I'd rather not have to wear, anything, to tell the truth. I mean, I wish I was just sitting in a bathtub of ice at the moment. Yeah, and not even missing any organs while doing so. Yeah, but yeah, quick recap, mini AOC getting trolled offline. Tommy Robinson is going to jail, I guess, which is, crazy. Salute to America by Trump was excellent. Biden and Sanders both collapsing systemically as Warren rises up to be it'd be funny if she becomes the nominee. And I've been saying this for months, it'd be the most funny thing ever. I hope that it comes true. I hope Warren becomes the nominee because watching Trump completely crush her would be so fucking funny. And I think that he would. I don't think that she would have really a chance. But anyway, as always, that's about all. Peace out.